Hi guys, welcome to lesson 2. This time around we're going to be looking at trapping and combination. We're going to take the two traps we learned in the previous lesson and combine them in different ways. Each one of these combinations is going to be based on your opponent's response to your first trap. The first one we're going to look at is a pox out to a lop sow off of the front hand. Okay, this first one is going to be a pox out to a lop sow off of the front hand. Basically what's going to happen is we went to do our pox out and the guy was really strong, whatever, he resisted, and we didn't quite get it through. So manual. So we start out in that same reference point. I'm going to go down to slap and hit, and he's going to fight me somehow. There's two ways guys will usually do this. One is they'll either go up, or they'll kind of push back. So when he comes in, boom, when I get stuck to this point, the hand that went to punch is actually going to turn into a lop, and the hand that slapped is going to punch, and I'm going to go into that. So we'll go real slow, I come in, boom, he comes in that way. Again, here, here. What's kind of cool about this is when he's fighting on that first one, he has to kind of give me his energy going this way. If you notice, he's pushing towards me. So it adds a little something extra when I can pull him to me and punch. So one more time. Here to there. And that's pox out to lops out off of the front hand. Now this first one relates to the dummy pretty easily. We start out in our pox out like before, slap and hit, and the hand that just punched back and pulls, and this one hits. One thing I want to represent or talk about a little bit when you're practicing these in combination and you're pretending your first trap was obstructed, there's kind of two ways to do that. You can either start from here and pretend like you got jammed up on the arm, pull and hit, or you can just go ahead and hit and leave it there, not retract it like we would under normal circumstances. Come in, hit, and then from there. One more time. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. 1, 2. That would be pox out to lop sow off of the front hand. Okay, the second one is also going to be off of a pox out. This time we were successful and we actually pulled off our trap, but he's going to block with his rear hand. So manual. So there's a pox out or a lops out off of the rear hand. So I slap down, he catches it. The same hand that slapped down is going to come up, pull, and I'm going to back fist. At speed, it'll look like that. One key point to this is that when I come in, I want to pull his arm slightly down because I want to try to obstruct this arm from coming up and blocking that back fist. And that would be pox out, lops out off of the rear hand. The next one's a little trickier to pull off on the dummy. We'll walk through it slow. Again, we go through that pox out. We're still treating this first arm as the second arm that comes up and blocks. We come in, we're going to come in and attach again here, and then we're going to roll. You also notice I'm moving out a little bit using my footwork. Come in, hit, I roll here, this hand reaches underneath, pull, and I hit. I do have to kind of travel around just a little bit to actually make this work. So boom, shifting this way, really slow. Boom, boom. One thing I wanted to talk about too, I actually forgot to bring this up in the last video. What you hit with is not very important actually. Here, when we do that pox out could either be with a punch, it could be with an eye jab, it could be with a hand strike. And when we get to that lop sow, I'm showing it with a back fist. So when we roll to here, hit this way, but it can just as easily be a chop, or it could also be a hammer fist. The main point is that slapping down, pulling, and then coming off with backhand, whatever shot you want after that. this next one is going to be really similar to the last one. The guy's going to block with his rear hand in the same way, except he's not going to push over quite as far. This brings up the Wing Chun concept of center line. Instead of going across his body, which is going to set us up to pull him, he's going to kind of stay there. He might have slipped back, you just caught your hand or whatever. Basically, it'll look like this, Manuel. So when I come in here, it's a little harder for me to try to get all the way over here and pull that move off. So I'm going to come in this way. This hand that did the pox out is going to pox out again, and I'm going to punch again and hit this way. At speed. Again. You also notice that in the last one I sealed off this arm by trapping this way and trying to cover up here. This time I'm actually using my elbow to try to obstruct him here and lock that up. None of these is gonna buy you a lot of time. They're only gonna buy you a little bit of time, hopefully to grab another hit. So one more time. Pox out, pox out. Okay, this next one is going to be lops out or pox out. Kind of the same as our first one. We go to do our trap and he resists us. So, Manuel, I go to lops out. He can either tip this elbow up and block. This is a pretty common counter to this with Wing Chun, etc. Or he could just be a strong guy, fight me, and this gets in the way. Either way, my answer is going to be the same. The hand that punch is going to turn into a slapping hand, pox out, and the hand that pulls is going to revert to a punch to that way. One more time. So, lops out. Now what we got to do is try one more time. Lops out, pox out. Again, lops out, pox out. The next one we're going to do is the lops out, the pox out off of the front hand. We're going to pull here, slap down. One more time. Again. And that would be lops out to pox out off of the front hand. Thanks a lot for checking out the second video. If you guys have any questions or anything I can help you with, please feel free to drop me an email and I'll help you any way I can. Have a great time training and we'll see you next time.
You up with the club, then you fall down.
Okay. It's going to be a Tyson fight.